Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so actually gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is best when you do it without preparation. So I'm just going to ask one of you to just volunteer to just show your gratitude towards Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And since you're already reading Srila Prabhupada's books and you know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he's done for us, just a minute or two, just go impromptu. You don't need preparation. Hare Krishna, Hema. How are you?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry for joining late.
Not at all. I myself joined late. So, okay, who's going to go? Who's going to go impromptu today?
Hare Krishna,
Just go
Mataji.
for it. Right? Yes, please. That's good. It'll come straight from the heart when it is not prepared.
Yes. Namo Krishna Padaya, Krishna Peshtaya, Putiteshvare, Bhakti Swami, Namaste Saraswati, Gauravan, Charan, Vishesha Shunyavadi, Paschatya, Srila Prabhupada. It's a good opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada has a very special space in my heart, because after coming into the contacts of the devotees, and slowly I have started with the small books of Srila Prabhupada. He has written those books so especially from bottom of his heart. We can feel even the Bhagavatam first canto. The message he has given is from bottom of his heart, because though Bhagavatam, the first set only he has carried with him when he went to America, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So fortunately today, me and my husband, we went for Mangala Aarti in Juhu ISKCON temple morning. So it was a nice experience to see Srila Prabhupada. Literally my eyes was full of tears looking at him, because what he has given, we only can understand. Who all are listening to him daily and listening his voice daily. So the connection what we have with him is very special, Mataji. So really we are all like blessed, and what I can say, I don't have words to say rather. And by distributing the books and preaching movement, what he wants us to do, we can ka कर्ज हम उतार सकते हैं. What I can say is that.
Very nice. See, always when you speak without preparation, it comes from the heart. And it focuses on how Srila Prabhupada has, made a special place in your heart. If we can also, all of us just think, what are the things which Srila Prabhupada has given us, which we probably will not have? There's the list is endless, endless. We can start by saying that beautiful temples, beautiful deities, beautiful books, yeah. But then we have association of devotees. Then we have this wonderful program right from Mangala Aarti to Shayana Aarti, in which we are engaged. We do Tulsi Aarti, in which we actually have Raganuga Bhakti. When we do Tulsi Aarti, we pray for Raganuga Bhakti. We have Prasadam. We have the facility of Prasadam everywhere we go in the world. We can just do Sankirtan and become perfect. The list is endless, right? Endless. So that gratitude is there. Wow, so nice. Okay, so so you guys, I wasn't there. Sorry, I was traveling last week. You all did 16 and 17, is it?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, so this is this section from 16 to 22, the very interesting section. So if you all know, I'm sure you all know what is the process, what is the 9 steps of progress of bhakti? Do you all know that? Starting from Shraddha. Do you know the verse? Adho Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti. Yes, do you all know that? After Anartha Nivriti is Nishtha, then Ruchi, then Asakti, then Bhav, then Prem. I'll go through it again. So this is your progress of bhakti. Okay, this is the progress of bhakti. Adho Shraddha, that is first comes Shraddha. Rupa Goswami has given this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Adho Shraddha, first is Shraddha, then comes Sadhu Sangha, then comes Bhajana Kriya, the devotional processes, right? Bhajana Kriya. Once you start your Bhajana Kriya, what happens? Anartha Nivriti, all the anarthas in your heart, all the dirt accumulated, all our bad habits, it gets destroyed. Anartha Nivriti. Now what happens when Anartha Nivriti happens? Then now you get Nishtha. You started with Shraddha, which is very important, faith. But that faith was feeble faith. Now you're going to Nishtha, firm faith. You totally established the faith or the Nishtha in Krishna and the process. Then comes Ruchi. Ruchi means, what's the meaning of Ruchi?
Interest.
Yes. And this interest then leads to Asakti. Asakti is attachment. Attachment to the name, form, pastimes, associates, dham, everything. Asakti. Asakti then gives you bhava and then prema. Right? So this, you must always remember this, because now you will, since you're doing Bhagavatam, you will find a lot of this. Srila Prabhupada will also mention, and you will find when you hear lectures also, this progress of bhakti, and you can also put yourself in a certain and try to assess. Now there are some things which go hand in hand. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti is something which is constant. Right? Sadhu Sangha should always be there. Bhajana Kriya is always there. And Anartha Nivriti, therefore, is always happening. Even if one of this goes down from Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya, then Anartha Nivriti stops. Then you come back to Shraddha. You don't go to Nishtha, firm faith. So therefore, this is very important. Now, Sadhu Sangha is also a stage where you realize that you need to take a guru in your life. So that is also Sadhu Sangha, right? So now this verse 16, okay, I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Any questions, or you all have got the steps? You got all of it?
What does asakti means?
Attachment. Asakti is attachment. Okay, so you all did this, right? Shushrusho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. So Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra, made possible by service to great devotees. So what happens? by the causeless mercy of the devotees, by service to devotees, this is your stage of Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, and Bhajana Kriya. So this verse is talking about the progress. So now, from, like I said, from verse number 16 to verse number 22 is the progress of bhakti, right? Now this verse is giving you Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, and Bhajana Kriya. How is that? So Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. When you do service, when you do Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya means also serving devotees, service rendered to devotees. Shushrusho Shraddhadanasya, hearing with care and attention. Now, if you don't have Shraddha and you don't hear, then the basic of anyone coming to this line is you have basic Shraddha. Otherwise, you will not come. The proof that you are here is you have Shraddha. So that comes with you from your previous lifetime. Okay. But then now comes the Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya. Serving those who are freed from all vice. Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. And your ego also, right? So that is also Bhajana Kriya. So this verse talks about Bhajana Kriya. Shraddha, faith developed by serving devotees. Anyone can give me an example of faith developed by serving devotees? Any example you have read? Very famous example in chapter 5 of this canto. Anu?
Is it Narad Muni?
Yes. Hema, I think you did Narad Muni too. Last
Yes,
week.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
So Narad Muni, what did he do? He served the great devotees and he straight away went to Nishtha and he went away right up to Asakti also. So when you serve devotees, it goes right up to, you can go up to Bhava and Prema. If the devotee has Bhava and Prema already in him, like for example, when we serve Srila Prabhupada, how can we serve Srila Prabhupada?
By distributing books and by
And
Chant.
what did Srila Prabhupada say about distributing books? Neha?
he said, if you love me,
Basically.
then you should distribute books.
Yes, but if you love me, you should first read the book and then distribute it.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, Lord, take this book. Okay, what is in the book? I don't know. Srila Prabhupada said distribute. Hai na? So, how do you associate with Srila Prabhupada? Through his
By
books.
reading.
How do you associate with the acharyas? By reading their books, by following instructions. We are Rupanugas. How do we associate with Rupa Goswami? By following his instructions and reading his books. What are the books we can read? You all are doing NOI, right? Upadesh Amrita. That means you are associating with Rupa Goswami. But associating with someone doesn't mean just book, close, bye-bye till next week. Follow the instructions given in the book. So whenever you hear something, read something, there are two things you must always keep in mind. One is, how can I apply it in my life? And second is, how can I share it with someone else? These are two things which is very, very important and you must do it. Okay, it's a request from me. Please. One is, how can I apply it in my life? If you are attending a class, there should be at least one thing which you take away from that and you see, how can I apply it in my life? Second thing is, how can I share it with someone else? Whether it is your children, your family, your friends, your neighbor, in some way, some small way. Now, if you go and tell them that directly, okay, 4 aggregative principles, 16 rounds, they'll say, bye-bye. So you have to also judge whom to tell what. Okay. Then now we'll go to the next verse. You all have already done this. Okay, most important. I hope, like last time, you all memorized one verse, Savai Pumsam. This also should be memorized. Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shavana kirtanaha hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti surhit satam. So what is happening here? Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna. What is this? Bhajana kriya, devotional practices. And hridayantasto hi abhadrani. What is happening? Anartha nivriti. Right? So if you develop the virtue to hear and chant, then Krishna cleanses your heart of all material desires. Abhadrani means anarthas. So anartha nivriti is happening here. Now we go to how to make this happen. We will go to the next verse, which is today's verse. And I'm sure we all know this verse. Nashta prayeshva bhadreshu. Someone can please repeat after me.
Nashtapayeshu bhadreshu
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
nityam bhagavata sevaya
bhagavati uttama shloke
bhagavate uttama shloke
bhaktir bhavati nashtiki.
bhaktir bhavati nashtaki.
Yes. Can you please read the translation?
Sure. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of services to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Irrevocable. So now what does Uttama Shloke mean? It is Krishna's name. Uttama Shloka. One who is, unto whom we chant Uttama, transcendental shlokas. To whom? So all shlokas are meant to glorify Lord Krishna. So now what are the two things happening over here? Let's talk about Nashta Prayeshu, almost to nil. Almost to nil. Abhadreshu, all that is inauspicious. So what is happening here? In your 9 progress,
Number
what
4.
stage? Tell me.
Number 4. Anartha
No, tell me the word.
Anartha
Tell me.
Nivriti.
Anartha Nivriti.
Anartha Nivriti. Correct. And how do we do it? By Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya. What is Nityam? Nityam has 2 meanings. One is daily and one
Daily.
is regularly or eternally. Regularly or eternally or daily. So what do we have to take it as an understanding? Depending on your level, on your adhikar, on your progress, you can do it either daily or you can do it regularly. Or if you're a pure bhakta, if you're an already liberated eternal servant of the Lord, which we all are, then we do it eternally, every second, every moment. So, and how to do it? How to do it? Bhaktir bhavati. What is bhaktir bhavati? Loving service to the Lord, not as a punishment, not as a chore. Oh, aaj kiya nahi, aaj karna hai. No, loving. Let me do it. I'm waiting to read Bhagavatam. That should be our attitude. Come Sunday, you should have the attitude, oh, tomorrow is Bhagavatam. Let me read something. Let me hear something. Regular hearing is Nityam Bhagavatam. Yeah. So Anartha Nivritti happens. Now, what happens over here? Irrevocable. Yes, Naishtiki. So what happens here? Irrevocable fact. Established is irrevocable fact, right? So which also comes to the stage of Nishtha, which is steadiness or firm faith. When you do it every day, when you do it regularly, when you do it sometimes all the time, or you're thinking or meditating, then comes steadiness. You will be steady in all your practices. You will be steady in your chanting, you will be steady in your fog regulative, you'll be steady in your deity worship, you'll be steady in everything you do. And you will find that even in your material, day-to-day mundane things also, you will find a kind of discipline in it. You will find steadiness in it. You will be better at your job. You will be better at your sports. You'll be better at school. You'll be better at anything you do. So that steadiness reflects in your personality. There's a calmness and steadiness. Let's read the purport. Here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. The biggest obstacle is, what is the biggest obstacle in our heart? Anyone? What is the biggest obstacle? Why are we here in the material world?
Desire.
Yes, material desires. Absolutely. Material desires. Spiritual desires actually will speed up your journey. And you should have spiritual desires. But material desires is something which are obstacles. So what is the remedy? The remedy is also given. The remedy is association of Bhagavats. So there are two types of Bhagavats. The book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. Both are completely necessary. You cannot have one without the other. You have to have both in your life. And both are competent remedies, Srila Prabhupada says. Both of them or either of them can be good enough to eliminate obstacles. Good enough, but you need both. A devotee Bhagavat is as good as the book Bhagavat because the devotee Bhagavat leads his life in terms of the book Bhagavat. And the book Bhagavat is full of information about the Lord and his pure devotees, who are also Bhagavats. So Bhagavat book and person are identical. Next time you meet a devotee, please remember this. Yeah, you must always keep this in mind. So there was another class which I attended in a Bhakti Vaibhav where they said that when a devotee comes to your house or you're having darshan of a devotee, it's the Lord himself who's coming in the form of a devotee. So take advantage. I'm talking about pure devotees, senior devotees. Yeah. So take advantage. The devotee Bhagavat is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So by pleasing the devotee Bhagavat, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavat. Human reason fails to understand how by serving the devotee Bhagavat or the book Bhagavat, one gets gradual promotion on the path of devotion. A lot of people think that we are very sentimental, right? How can a book Bhagavat or a devotee Bhagavat? So then, but actually these are facts explained by Srila Narad Dev, who happened to be a maidservant's son in his previous life. The maidservant, now you will read this in detail in chapter 5, 6 and 7, and a very beautiful pastime, and we will go deep into it because it has a lot of hidden tales and meaning. So we will go deep. But I will just quickly read this. The maid servant was engaged in menial services of the sages, and thus he also came into contact with them. And simply by associating with them and accepting the remnants of foodstuff left by the sages, the son of the maidservant got the chance to become the great devotee and personality Srila Narad Dev, just by associating with the person Bhagavad. These are miraculous facts. These are miraculous effects of the association of Bhagavad. And to understand these effects practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of the Bhagavads, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily, with the result that he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. The more progress is made in devotional service under the guidance of the Bhagavads, the more one becomes fixed in transcendental loving service of the Lord. Very important. Service under the guidance of the Bhagavads. Why is Srila Prabhupada emphasizing this? Can anyone tell me? Why are we supposed to be under the guidance of a Bhagavad, the person Bhagavad?
Because in 2.16, it is explained that a devotee, if you serve a devotee, then God get pleased. So, if you have association of the Bhagavad, it is very, very important, because God doesn't get pleased if you serve him, but if you serve a Vaishnav, he gets pleased more.
Correct. Absolutely. Any other reason? Like, why should we do devotional service under the guidance?
Because Mataji,
Because
right?
parampara, it comes down in parampara, and
So what happens when it comes down in parampara?
So it is pure and totally unadulterated, and no addition from our own side, or
Correct.
what should I say?
Concoctions, our own concoctions.
Own concoctions of thinking.
Absolutely. 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 Hema, you would like to say something?
Yes, Mataji. And as in Kali Yuga, Srila Prabhupada is well aware that in Kali Yuga there are many types of cheater propensity gurus will be there. So to avoid this, you should be always under guidance.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Because there are so many cheaters. There are so many concoctions, self-made gurus, self-made Bhagwan who claim to be Bhagwan. So therefore, you must be very careful that even though we have 4 authorized parampara, you should understand that every parampara's mood is different. Right? And we should stick to our own. We should stick to the Gaudiya parampara, because Krishna came in that as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should be very careful, and that's why it is very important to learn devotional service under the guidance, so that sometimes we also concoct things. So like we study Bhagavatam also under the guidance. If you try to study on your own, sometimes you don't understand it. You don't understand it as much as you will understand. I'm not saying that anyone over here is not capable of understanding. You must do self-study, but sometimes realization is more important than knowledge. Yeah, Gyan and Vigyan. So therefore it's very important. So the progress is more when you are under the guidance. Yeah, the messages of the book Bhagavad therefore have to be received from the devotee Bhagavad, and the combination of these 2 Bhagavads will help the neophyte devotee to make progress on and on. So this verse talks about Anartha Nivritti and Nishtha, right? So this talks about Anartha Nivritti and Nishtha. So Nishtha, so now we have established that first of all, you come here because of Shraddha, then you're hearing, and then you're doing service to the Bhagavad. So you're doing bhajana kriya, you're doing sadhu sangha, and because of that, all the anarthas, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu, is being destroyed, and you're coming to a stage of nishtha because you're serving them nityam, nitya bhagata sevya, right? So nishtha has now developed in your heart. So then what happens? Please repeat. Tada rajastamo bhavaha.
Sada rajastamo bhavaha
Kamalobhadayaschaye.
kamalobhadayaschaye
Chetayeterana vidham.
cheta etairana vidham
Sthitam sattve prasidati.
Itam sattve prasidati.
Please read the translation.
I can't see the translation. As
See?
soon as, yeah,
Yeah,
now I can.
now?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy.
Yes. So if you see the words, tada rajastamo bhava. You know what is rajas, you know what is tamas, right? So when these are called the lower modes. Correct? So these are something we have to avoid. So you have to establish yourself in Sattva Gun. Then it becomes easier to go into Vishuddha Sattva or Shuddha Sattva. So all these regulative principles, all these ways of living which Srila Prabhupada has taught us, which is all there from the scriptures, nothing concocted on his own, is to bring you to Sattva. So even in the 17th chapter, when there are qualities of a devotee, one of that is Sattvastha. Sattvastha means to come to a platform of Sattva Gun. That is another reason why we don't have onions and garlic. Why? Because when we establish ourselves, when we are there in Sattva Gun, then it is easier to come out of passion and ignorance, which leads to lust, desire, hankering. Passion gives you desire, lust, and tamas actually gives you laziness, negativity. So all these disappear from your heart. So the devotee is then established in goodness. The more you establish, the more sattva you make your environment. Like Sattva Gun also means keeping everything tip-top clean, eating clean food, wearing clean clothes, being clean internally, externally. Then you become happy. The more your house is cluttered, you're lazy, you eat more foods which are in the mode of tamas, what happens? You become more and more depressed, unhappy, and that leads to tamas, right? So what is said over here is the loving service to Krishna is established when the devotee is established in goodness, right? So the effects of the lower modes of passion and ignorance. What are the effects of passion and ignorance? Lust, desire, hankering. Those are the effects. They disappear. So what's happening here? Ruchi. What is ruchi? Taste, interest. It is developing because the heart is no longer pierced or hankering for material objects. So therefore your interest or your taste in the holy names, your taste in katha, your taste in devotional service is getting established. So from your nishtha now, you're moving towards ruchi, right? Why do we have hankering for material objects? Because we lack taste for spiritual. We lack. So we all know that the soul, the nature of the soul is to be active, is to have anand, to experience bliss. So if we do not have taste in spiritual, then we hanker for taste in material, which then leads you to the repeated cycle of birth and death. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. That's it. Punar, again and again and again. So spiritual taste is now arising. By what? Because of nishtha, because of your nityam bhagavata sevaya, nishtha. Now ruchi, your taste in spirituality is arising and becoming more and more and more. And therefore what happens? Cha eter anavidham sthitam sattve prasidati. Right? The mind is unaffected due to being established in goodness. One becomes completely happy, and therefore from ruchi, you're getting attached to spiritual. So comes asakti. So this verse is about ruchi and asakti. Your taste appears because of your rajas and tamas being removed and coming to sattva gun. And because coming into sattva gun, you're becoming happier and therefore you are attached. Aren't you always attached to things which make you happy? If you think about material also, if buying new clothes made you happy, you would buy clothes every day, right? If earning more money made you happy, you would earn more money. That's what people do. That's what materialists do, right? They keep doing things which make them happy. So now since you have attained a taste for spirituality, you're getting attached to it. So there comes your ruchi. So I'm going to read what Srila Prabhupada says in the pulpit. A living being in his normal constitutional position is fully satisfied in spiritual bliss. If you are in your normal constitutional position, right? This stage of existence is called Brahma Bhuta or Atmananda, or the state of self-satisfaction. Anyone remembers the verse starting with Brahma Bhuta? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Meaning, does not hanker. Akanksha nahi hai. Does not hanker. Right? So it is in a state of self-satisfaction. This self-satisfaction is not like the satisfaction of the inactive fool. Inactive fool is in the state of foolish ignorance, whereas the self-satisfied Atmanandi is transcendental to the material state of existence. Inactive over here means ignorant of spirituality, not active spiritually. So when does the soul become active?
When it gets nourishment through seva, sadhana, bhakti, association.
Yes. When it's nourished by spiritual things, then it becomes. So here, inactive means you're not nourishing the soul, you're only nourishing your body, eating food, or maybe nourishing your subtle senses by reading, or getting PhDs, or becoming extremely knowledgeable, intelligent, but completely ignorant on how to activate the bliss potency of the soul. So in that stage, you will not experience anything. But this Atmanandi is the stage of perfection. And as soon as one is fixed in irrevocable devotional service. So devotional service is not an activity, but the unalloyed activity of the soul. The soul's activity becomes adulterated in contact with matter, and as such, the diseased activities are expressed in the form of lust, desire, hankering, inactivity, foolishness, and sleep. So let's have a quick, let's lust is which mode? Rajas or tamas?
Mode of passion.
Very good. Desire?
It's also mode of passion.
Hankering?
Passion.
Passion.
Inactivity?
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Ignorance.
And foolishness?
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Yeah. And to a part, both. Even Rajas is foolishness. Yeah. So, sleep. What about sleep?
Ignorance.
Ignorance.
Completely, right? Completely. So that is why we say that we are awakening the soul. Correct? So the devotee is fixed at once in the mode of goodness, and he makes further progress to rise to the position of Vasudev, or the state of unmixed sattva or Shuddha sattva. Only in the Shuddha sattva state can one always see Krishna face to face by dint of pure affection for the Lord. Now, when Srila Prabhupada says we will see Krishna face to face, what does that mean? Does it mean Krishna, we will see Krishna face to face? Yeah, if one day we will, we all should hanker for that position where Krishna will give you darshan. But even Arjun couldn't see with these mortal eyes, right? He also needed special wisdom. So when Srila Prabhupada says face to face, meaning that you will understand, you will realize that everything around you is Krishna's creation. It is Krishna himself, right? So I was listening to your classes, and there was a discussion of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Yes? Am I right? Last class? In your Bhagavad Gita class? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva? Who can explain? I think Vishaka Mataji said that you must know this because this is our Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva. What is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva? Okay, let's break it down. Yeah, Aminu, go ahead.
इसमें ये था माता जी कि जो भगवान है वो हमसे डिफरेंट भी है, नॉन डिफरेंट भी है. लाइक अगर समुद्र है तो उसका अगर हम पानी लेते हैं तो उसकी क्वालिटी, उसकी जो है प्योरिटी वगैरह सब सेम होगी, लेकिन फिर भी वी आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम गॉड, बट वी आर पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ गॉड, बट वी आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम गॉड. दिस इज अचिंत्य भेदा भेद.
Correct. What is the meaning of Achintya? The word Achintya?
I forgot.
जिसका चिंतन नहीं कर सकते.
नहीं कर सकते.
Which is incomprehensible. Incomprehensible. You cannot understand. The same way the Achintya Bheda and Abheda Tattva is also so simple, but it is still incomprehensible. Why? Because we have not reached that stage yet. When we look at the sunlight, so you all were doing Rasoham Apsu Kaunteya, right? I am the taste in the water. I am Omkar. I am the ability, Paurusham. I am the ability in man. I am the Prithvi, Gandha of the Prithvi, the fragrance. So that is seeing Krishna face to face, understanding that it's Krishna. So actually, when you do second canto gives you synopsis. Of course, third canto onwards gives detail about creation and sub-creation, sarga, visarga, and all that. But second canto gives you a hint, or Shukadev Goswami gives a synopsis of creation. And actually the acharyas say that creation, what is creation? What is material creation? It is the Lord, it is Krishna embracing you. When you embrace your child, the child is just covered with you, right? When you take a small child and you embrace your child just takes shelter in you, isn't it? So Krishna's creation of the material world is embracing you because everywhere around you is Krishna. If you are sitting at a chair, at a table, all the ingredients have been provided by Krishna. A carpenter has made it. Someone human has only made it. But the raw materials has been created by Krishna in a very methodical way. Whether it is the sunlight, whether it is air around you, the air you breathe, the water you have within you, the water you drink, everything is an embrace of Krishna. So when you understand this achintya bheda abheda tattva, that this is the sun, but that is also Krishna, this is table, but that's also Krishna's energy, then you understand that you will see Krishna face to face because you're so attached to him, that affection to the Lord. So this stage is asakti. The devotee is always in the mode of unalloyed goodness, therefore he harms no one. But the non-devotee, however educated he may be, is always harmful. He may be harmful by killing animals and eating. He may be harmful to the environment. He may be harmful in his behavior to someone in a subtle level. But what is the biggest harm he can do? Not nourish his soul. A devotee is neither foolish nor passionate. The harmful, foolish, and passionate cannot be devotees of the Lord. However, they may advertise themselves as devotees by outward dress. A devotee is always qualified with all the good qualities of God. Quantitatively, such qualifications may be different, but qualitatively, both the Lord and his devotee are one and the same. Achintya bheda abheda tattva. Qualitatively, we are all same as the Lord, but quantitatively, we are Anu and he is Vibhu. Any questions still here, or shall we move on?
Supriya Mataji, can you just repeat it? That qualitative and quantitative fact.
Yeah. So we are all qualitatively the same as the Lord. We have the same qualities as the Lord. The soul, we are also Sat, Chid and Ananda. But quantitatively, if you also see the Shad Aishwarya of beauty and wealth, and fame and renunciation, we also have all those Aishwaryas with us, Shad Aishwaryas. But qualitatively, we are the same. Quantitatively, we are Anu, we are small. And he is Vibhu. He's big, he's maximum, he has it everything in full. We don't have, right? Everyone has beauty. Some have more, some have less. Everyone has wealth. Some have more, some have less. Everyone has power. Some have more, some have less. So if you think like that, we all have all the Shadaishwarya. We are all Satchidanand, but quantitatively, we are very small. We are just amshas. We are just a spark. And he's the whole. Yes, got it? Okay, so we'll move on to 1.2.20. So now, till where have we reached in our bhakti progress? We've reached up to
Asakti,
asakti. And asakti means?
attachment.
Attachment.
Yes.
Attachment.
Yes. So now in 20, we are going ahead now. We have reached asakti. Now, once you reach nishtha, ruchi, asakti, there's no going back. You will never fall down unless you offend a devotee. Yeah, unless you do Vaishnava Aprad, there's no way you can fall down. If you, the Lord will not forgive you. Please be very careful about Vaishnava Aprad. Okay, let's chant this. Evam prasanna manaso
Evam prasanna manso
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Mukta Sangasya Jayate.
Okay, so Evam Prasanna Manaso, therefore, the mind now has become enlivened. Manasa, the mind, Prasanna, enlivened. So now you see, Srila Prabhupada, Prasanna also means happy. But he's not written happy here. He's written enlivened. You know, enlivened is like completely alive with energy and, you know, that attachment, that positivity. Happy is just like happy. So that's why Srila Prabhupada has given enlivened. So here what has happened? Now we are going to break down bhava into a few more points. Now here, after firm attachment, asakti, in this enlivened mind is rati, which is fondness. Fond, you're extremely, rati means extreme fondness for the Lord, his pastimes, his devotees, his associates, his activities, his dham. You have fondness. I mean, you want to be part of it. You are part of it. That rati is there. Yes. Actually, English is quite a limited language, you know. Rati can be very nicely explained in Sanskrit, but in English, fondness is such a, what do you call it, a warm, tepid word. It doesn't have too much bhav in it. Yeah.
It doesn't have,
How?
it doesn't have depth.
It doesn't. Correct. So then Bhagavad Bhakti Yogaya. Evam Prasanna Manaso. Now you have that Evam Prasanna, fondness. Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. Devotional service after coming in contact, right? Established in mode of unalloyed goodness. What happens here? By engaging in or contact of devotional service of the Lord, what happens? Prema. You're getting prema, right? Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana Mukta Sangasya Jayati. One gains Vijnana, realized scientific knowledge. It's not just knowledge. You've realized it. Knowledge is something you know that, okay, if I chant, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Cheto Darpana Marjanam. My mind, mirror of my mind will get washed. But Vijnana is understanding that my Anartha Nivriti is actually being washed. What bad qualities I had of maybe lust, anger, greed has reduced. That is realization of how the holy name works. So now you gain the realized scientific knowledge of the Lord in the stage of liberation, free from material association. Mukta Sangasya Jayate, free from material association. So here getting the vision, darshana. Why? Because with Vijnana, you get realizations, and with realizations, you get prema. And from that, you get direct experience of Lord Hari's sweetness. So there are so many sweet things about the Lord. Yeah, his leelas are sweet, his flute is sweet, his associates are sweet, his voice is sweet, his eyes are sweet. You can just go on. Yeah. So once you, what stage is that? Prema. You've fallen head over heels in love. Right? If I don't know, but I'm sure, even if you won't say, I'm sure we all have read Mills and Bones, right? Anu, my God, you're too good. I won't recommend you to read it now, though. You stay, you
I
pass.
don't have any desire to do that also.
You can read the actual eternal bills and boons. You can read Bhagavatam. That's more than enough.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to read the fake ones. So you, in the stage of prema, what is this? It's called Harer Madhuryanubhava. Harer Madhurya Anubhava. That is, you are having prema. Bhava, and above that is prema. To the Madhurya, the sweetness of Hari, Harer, of Hari. So this depicts the progress of your bhakti as explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the 9 stages of bhakti. And you can see this when we do the past life of Narad Muni. You can see these stages because he starts with the son of a maidservant and then he goes right up to prema. So this is very, very important that it's given in Bhagavatam how you can actually go from Shraddha to Prema. And what are the things you have to do? So simple. Basically, what do you have to do? 2 things. The book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat. If you just associate, automatically everything will happen. Right? Okay, sorry, we haven't read this, right? Let's just read this. Okay. Actually, you all can read this yourself. This is what I have already told, because I just want to do this verse 21, which is the result of the bhakti progress. Right? If you follow the bhakti progress, this is the result of it. Bhedyate hridaya grante. Someone please.
Vidyate hridaya granthe.
Chidyante sarva samshayaha.
Vidyante sarva sanchayaha.
Kshiyante chasya karmani.
Shiyante chasya karmani.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Vidyate hridaya granthi. That is the knot. Granthi means knot. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced. Vidyate, pierced. Chidyante sarva samshaya. All misgivings are cut to pieces. Chidyante. Samshaya. All the misgivings, all your doubts. Kshiyante chasya karmani. Kshiyante, terminated, cha, and asya, his, karmani, the chain of fruitive actions. Your karma is therefore terminated. Drishte eva atmani ishvare. When one sees the self as the master, Ishvare, master. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced. So what happens when you go through the bhakti progress? When you progress in your bhakti, the knot in your heart is pierced. All your doubts, your misgivings are cut to pieces. And your karma is completely destroyed, terminated. And you see the self as master. What is the meaning of see self as master? Who is yourself? Your true self is?
The Lord. You see the Lord as the master.
Yourself, as in,
So
you know that your
Soul.
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 Yeah, yes, you're right. Krishna is your master. We are all the servants. But you don't follow the dictates of your mind or your body. You are seeing that you You are not the body, you are the soul. That's what it means. You are not the body, you are the soul. That is your true identity. Right? So that misgivings, what are the misgivings? There are so many misgivings which completely gets destroyed, because when you attain scientific knowledge, you are seeing your own self, your identity of being the spirit soul. The materialist, non-devotees do not believe that, some of them don't even believe that there's a soul. Scientists and all believe in the Big Bang theory. Atheists don't believe that God exists. But we devotees, we know that there is a soul, there is a super soul, there are two different identities inside us. The soul is, again, qualitatively, we are both the same, soul and super soul, but quantitatively, we are not. Right? So, Krishna, Surya Saman, Maya hoye andhakar. Jahan Krishna, taha Maya na adhikar. There is no adhikar of Maya in the presence of the sun. Just like when the sun comes, you can't have darkness, right? You can't. So the same way, when the darkness of ignorance has gone by the mercy of Krishna, who is residing in your heart as a super soul, then you start, the light of the soul shines out. The light of the soul. So the Lord says that, in Tesham evanupam partham aham ajnana jamtamaha nashiyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. To show special mercy to my devotees, I shine the light of knowledge. He says, no, 10.11. We just did that with the children this week. So he says that I, showing special mercy to them, I will dispel the darkness in the heart by jnana deepena bhasvata, by showing the knowledge, the lamp of knowledge. So that's also another thing which the bhakti does. So when you go through this knot, what is this knot? Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the knot is called ahankar, and it falsely obliges a living being to become identified with matter. This ahankar, what is ahankar? False ego, right? When you identify with matter, you think you are the body, then that is a false ego. So with knowledge, with bhakti, as you progress, you will see the Lord and you will see your relationship with Him. And we are always Gopi Bhattur Padakamalayo Radas Das Anudas. We are a servant. We are not the servant of Krishna. Please remember, we are not qualified to be the servant of Krishna. We are the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. If you follow that, then you are delivered. You are liberated even in this body. Okay, so this is the result of following the bhakti process. So from 16 to 19 gives you the progress of bhakti, and this 16 to 20 gives you progress, 21 gives you the result. Yeah, so you must meditate on this. So next time we will do 23 to 29. And then comes 30 to 33. Yeah. So 23 to 29 is only Lord Krishna is to be worshipped. Hare Krishna, Anu. See you bye.
Hare Krishna.
So we stop for today, and I'll take any questions if there are.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Mataji, as all of us we came very late in this part. As per our age, according to our age. So by that time, we live our life in this false ego only. That we are this body, we are taking the care of the body. But somewhere the Shraddha was there so that we could connect Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anjali. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So somewhat with the Shraddha, we get connected to the Krishna, and now we are understanding what is soul, what is we are not this body, we are soul. So that false ego, mind, intellect, and body is there. So it's very difficult to sometimes it gets very difficult to use it in our day-to-day life, because see, sometimes we get diet conscious. If there is any function, then we look forward for the new clothes. So what to give directions to these things?
So we should understand that our identity is not the body, but it is the soul. But that doesn't mean we reject the body which Krishna has given us. Right? We can't reject that, nor can we stop living in the world, because that's where we have to live for now. So what is the instruction which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Raghunath Das Goswami? When Raghunath Das Goswami left anything and came running to him when he was very young, in his 20s, he was just newly married. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, go back and live a grihastha life. Internally, you have to be a devotee, you have to be a firm devotee, but externally, you have to be a materialist. He was rich, he was a prince, he was so rich. That doesn't mean he didn't bother about what he wore, what he ate, how he maintained his body. The better you maintain your body, the better you can serve Krishna. So it is all about internal also than externals. There is no harm in maintaining yourself externally. So the thing is about, even if you have diets which you want to follow, I follow diets, which is healthy, right? We do. We must exercise. We must eat a good diet. You want to lose weight, try to lose weight. But remember that whatever you have should be prasadam. You must offer and have. Don't have anything which is not prasadam. Secondly, maintaining your body is so that you can do your service better, right? You're not going to eat badly or starve yourself and not eat good or do that so that you can leave your body early. That's not what anyone can do. So there is no harm in it as long as you don't overdo something. If you buy new clothes and everything, that also has to be offered to the Lord before you wear them. But just because you're offering to the Lord doesn't mean you spend all your Lakshmi in just buying new clothes. But that also doesn't mean we have a little of social status which we have to maintain. Nothing wrong with it as long as we don't overdo something. You have to do how much ever is within your means. If you are so rich that you can buy new clothes every day and you still have to do it to show you have appearances, like maybe you're an Ambani or something, no harm in it. But more important than your externals are your internals. That internally you have to be completely attached to devotional service and the Lord's name, form, pastimes, everything. Internally, you're always thinking about the Lord, you're always thinking about or meditating on his pastime. This is what I read, inside. And inculcate those qualities which you're meant to inculcate as a devotee. Right? Not talk things which are unnecessary. All those things. So externals are necessary. And also you must understand, Hema, that we are grihasthas. We cannot live as brahmacharis and sannyasis live in temples with just one saffron cloth or a white. We are grihasthas. We are meant to live a certain way. We are meant to earn a living. They are not meant to earn livings, right? They are meant to be maintained by us. So therefore, focus more on internal. And external, you can be as normal as you have to be. Now Diwali is coming. You mean to say you're not going to buy? You're not going to do Diwali shopping? You're not going to, you decorate your house? Is it your house? No, it's not your house. It's Krishna's house. Aren't you going to decorate Krishna's house on Diwali? The Lord Ramachandra is coming back from Ayodhya. Aren't you going to decorate your house? Aren't you going to light diyas? Aren't you going to wear new clothes? Aren't you going to buy clothes for your deities? So everything has to be done in that consciousness. Reject things which do not give you pleasure in your heart because it's not attached to Krishna. Again, when you buy clothes which are culturally better for us. So you just have to have that kind of broad way of thinking that I will try to bring everything under the umbrella of Krishna consciousness without bringing focus to myself. That's it. But internally, without anyone knowing, without anyone even understanding, you have to deepen your bhakti. That is a sign of a true devotee. Anyone can wear devotional clothes, wear tilak, wear kanthi beads, have a japamala. But internal is what matters. Even externally, if you don't have all those external things of a devotee, which is necessary, but if you don't, but internally you are deep, Krishna is watching that. We are here to please him, right? So focus on that. Don't worry about all these. These are necessary.
Yes, Mataji. Nicely answered. Correct.
Thank you. Anything else?
I would like to add something. Today morning, I was struggling to go through my Bhagavatam classes because I've been chanting and I've been doing my deity seva. But then, going through the classes is like a tedious task for me because I'm going through a phase of my life where my son has left and, I'm trying to, cope up with the pressure that he's not there. So today in your class, my question got answered, as to what I should do to actually motivate myself. Because when you go to a class and you feel inspired by a certain quote, and then you are motivated to hear more about Krishna. For example, the example which you said right now, that Bhagavatam is the real mills and boon, it's the eternal mills and boon. So the example which you gave are like so inspiring that you feel like coming to the class and listening more about pastimes of Krishna. So I wanted to share this.
So nice. I tell you, Bhagavatam does that to you. This is the power of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam really pulls you towards it. A person who has tasted Bhagavatam has found even a little bit of pleasure in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam won't leave. Remember, in the eternal world, in the spiritual world, all these scriptures are personalities. They are persons. They have a form. They have a name. So they are not just books. Books are for us material world. They are personalities. Please understand that. They are personalities, all of them. Bhagavatam is a personality. He's a book personality. And the way you approach Bhagavatam is that way he will reveal it to you. If you approach it as a jnani, you will get it as a jnani. If you approach it as a materialist, you will get it as that. You will get it as something uninteresting. But if you approach it as a devotee, approach him as a devotee, because it's not different to Krishna, you will only get bhakti. And then you can't. Once you are hooked onto Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam won't leave you even if you want to. And then, of course, there's Chaitanya Charitamrita. My God, that's even more sweet. That's nectar. If this is nectar, imagine that. There's so much. Neha, I can't even begin to tell you that we're so lucky, we're having this. We're so lucky. And then, Hema, another thing is, you said we come to it at such an late stage in our life. I always regret that. I wish I had it as a child, but at least we got it before we left our body, right? At least we have it now.
Yeah.
And we can serve it. So let's make the best of it. So I hope you enjoy your Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya from here onwards. All right, so we'll stop for today. Okay, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Pancha Kalpata